Hey everybody! So last weekend we gave some really close friends of ours a tiny house tour, and the blue glow-in-the-dark bar top was a huge hit. Everyone wanted to know how we built it, so today we're going to show you how we did it and where we got the wood from for this project. And as always, if this is your first time to our channel, welcome! If you don't want to miss where we're at, what we're doing, or how we plan to do it, start by subscribing and clicking the little bell next to it to get notified when we post a new video. So let's get on with it. So I found this place that recycles wood the next town over. They go into old houses and old buildings and demolish them and save everything that they can and resell it in their gigantic warehouse. And I'll post more about rock along with some of the Amazon links that I use for the materials that I bought at the end of this video. So it took me a while to find the board that said, pick me, but finally I found one that spoke to me. I got the board to the shop, I started cleaning it up, and this thing was just black with dirt, but you could tell it just had a ton of character. So after a little bit of sanding, wire brushing out all the crevices, cracks, and holes, it looked really nice. But in order to make those cracks and crevices really pop, I took a teeny tiny little paintbrush and I painted in a little bit of silver into every little crack and hole and crevice. Then I sanded the board over again and I prepped it for the glow-in-the-dark resin. So I probably went a little heavy on the glow-in-the-dark powder. I figured more was better, but there's also a fine line between being really cool and then also being really goofy. When you buy your glow-in-the-dark powder, also make sure that it works good in sunlight versus having to have a black light to activate it. We wanted ours activated by the sun coming through the window. We didn't want to have an extra light hanging in our tiny house. So that's the reason why we used the sunlight glow-in-the-dark powder versus blacklight activated powder. So after that, I taped up all the holes on the underside of the board so it wouldn't leak through, the resin wouldn't leak through, and then I filled all the cracks, crevices, and holes with the glow-in-the-dark resin. I let it sit for a day to make sure that it got nice and hard, and also I wanted to see what kind of a glow it actually was going to put out. The resin I used, I bought from Amazon, and it had about a 40-minute work time. So I spent the next 3 days putting on 3 more layers on top of the bar, then wet sanding in between every layer. It's also really important to torch the top of your resin after you've put it on to make sure that you get all the bubbles to come up to the surface. It makes sanding a whole lot easier and it makes your surface a whole lot smoother. So just to add just a little bit more character to our bar top, Pam's dad smokes cigars. And last time we were down in Florida to see him, he had all these old cigar boxes, and I said, what are you going to do with those? And he says, I don't know. And I says, hey, I'd love to take some of those and recycle them and use them in the tiny house. So now we have these really cool little drawers underneath the bar top that we can stick all sorts of things in, like cords, money, wallets, I don't know, but it's kind of hidden so you don't normally see them, but they're perfect. And the really cool thing is that they just slide right out, and when you open them, they still smell like cigars. So it's also kind of nice to have a little bit of the pops in the tiny house too. So the place I like to scavenge sometimes for recycled wood is this place in Muncie, Indiana called Rock, R-O-C. The owner's name is Steve, so when you go in there, make sure that you tell him that I sent you. And if there's something in particular that you're looking for, let him know and he'll keep his eye out for you. His business goes in and demolishes old buildings and houses, and then they pull out everything that they possibly can that they can recycle and use for something else. My gosh, they've got all sorts of stuff. Stuff like old doors, windows, sinks, tubs, sidings, railings, spindles. They've even got this awesome, cool staircase. It's just really cool. I could easily spend like 2 hours just looking at everything that he's got there. And it's always constantly changing. So if there's also something that you would like but don't know how to make it, talk to Steve and see if he can't make a special piece for you as well. You'll love it over there. So thanks for watching our video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I will get back to you as soon as possible. If you pull down the drop down comments description, I will leave the links for the Amazon for the resin and the glow in the dark. And with the glow in the dark stuff, you can have your choice of any color. We used blue, but they have red, yellow, green, pretty much any color you can think of. So anyway, I'll leave also the link for Rock, our OC, down in the comments as well.
Yeah.